Oh, good evening. Welcome to Allports Gaming, SuperCars NZ. This is Doug, joined in the broadcasting lounge by my good mate Shane White. How are we going there, Shane?
Yeah, good, thanks, Doug. Excited to be here in Rudskogen Motor Centre, Norway's oldest asphalt racetrack, opened in May 1990.
Wow, awesome. Yeah, it's a new feature. Well, not so new now, but a new feature for us on iRacing. It's one of the newer releases that we've had, and we've had some good battles here so far, and we've had some very interesting races. And tonight is looking to be rather action-packed with a pretty full grid. I think of about 39 cars. I think at last count.
Yeah, I think we're looking at about 39 going to be lining up on the grid, maybe 38 if someone might have disconnected who hasn't rejoined back in as yet. But yeah, we raced here in the GT3s last season, and it was commented on then, I think, that this was going to be a tricky track if we ever came here in the V8s.
Yeah.
And here we are, here in the V8s, and proving very challenging for a lot of people. So it'll be interesting to see how the race goes. Hopefully it'll be a good one.
Yeah, I'm just quickly updating the details because we're not running week 6 at Magnicor as it says there on the pop-up, but the folks at home get a bit of a chance to see what the layout of the track is. It's a cool 21 degrees out there today, clear skies, no humidity, and a little bit of a gentle breeze for the gents out there. But yeah, as Shane said, a 3.15 kilometre track there in Norway. It's got all the information there for us, and yeah, as it says on there, if you're watching us via our YouTube channel, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, because we love being here, and yeah, we definitely want to be able to do more awesome, cool, exciting videos for you guys. This week, our weekly sponsor is SDI, the one and only Steve Darren, and we've got him on track there at the moment, having a wee play, trying to get himself squared away. I can see that at the moment, sitting in 26th spot, so I'm sure Steve's got a couple more laps to give us before we roll over. And I see that the one and only Sean Makatat Namara has just joined us up here in the lounge. He's come in to raid the beer fridge again. How are we going, Sean?
Yeah, doing well, mate.
Are you getting ready to with your pen and paper for all the lovely calls that are going to come in tonight, or do you reckon it's going to go okay and everyone's going to be nice and polite and watch each other during the first couple of laps?
No, you're right with your first comment. It'll be disastrous. Turn 1 and 2, I can see at least 2 cars going off. Yeah, we won't throw yellow unless it's disastrous. But I picked there won't be enough room given by the drivers. Turn 1, turn 2, someone's going to go a bit too deep. Cold tyres.
Cool.
But I'd love him to prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, very good. And I see we've got our one and only MRX safety car back again here tonight, so he's ready and awaiting, ready to get amongst it if we need him.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the old MRX with Nick, so thanks for his time coming on board and giving me a hand doing the race control. Appreciate it.
Very cool.
And yeah, and the Aston Martin GT4.
Yeah, cool wee car, and he's definitely able to get the car around the track in quite a quick fashion. He's managed to qualify not last.
Yes, should we talk about who he's beaten? Is it a time?
No, not allowed to do that. Oh, that's very good.
So yes, yeah. I see some good names up the top there.
Yes.
Who went in so well last night, and hence the practice race is a reason for practice. So yeah, it should be very interesting.
Yes, and one man who doesn't usually turn up to practice nights but has been getting himself a few podiums lately is Blake Grenhall, Property Edge Mustang. He's sitting there in 12th, just behind Craig Mason at the moment. What's our predictions for Mr. Grenhall tonight? I know I called it last week with a mighty P1, but he was a wee bit further up the field. That was in the GT3s.
Is Shane here?
Yeah, Shane's here. I'm thinking Craig's going to miss his pit box, so that'll be one spot for Blake.
I think Blake's going to bin it. He's going to bin it tonight. He needs to have one bad night race.
You reckon
night
this will
in the
be
whole
Blake's
season.
night to turf it?
Yeah, he's going to get turned or be turned, one or the other. Yep. There you go. Called it early.
Yeah, very good.
Actually, speaking of that prediction you made last week in the GT3s, Dougie,
yeah.
how many cheeseburgers did it get Blake Dowdall to do that?
Oh, do you know about that?
I love the silence. Well done. All right, so I'm going to go down and get ready for the start of the race.
Yeah,
We're going
very
to get
good.
eyes on. So enjoy the call, boys, and I'll pop in and out as the race goes on.
We will. And should I have that wee wheel sitting waiting, maybe just in case?
Maybe. I feel this track's going to produce some. I really do. But you definitely taunt the people that are watching with it. Taunt it. Why not?
Yeah.
But I think we've got it covered tonight. I'll try and keep you guys informed of what's going on. If I'll put it in the admin chat while you're commentating, so keep an eye on it.
I've got it there, ready and waiting, just in case.
All right. Good
luck,
mate.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, boys.
We'll get ready as we
Cheers,
see Shane van Gisbergen has gone and taken out P1 once again in the V8s. He has jumped to the top of the leaderboard by a mighty half a second over Connor Nixon there in P2, with Bruce Tannock a full half second behind Connor in third. Timothy Vaughan, though, sitting in fourth place behind Bruce Tannock. We've seen this name and we've seen some race potential from Tim Vaughan in the past, haven't we, Shane?
Yeah, we certainly have. He was very quick in the second race of round 2. I cannot think where that was, but yeah, came through and grabbed a win when we weren't really watching him, and through the pit sequence he sort of came through at the front, so we weren't expecting that, but he came through and took the win.
Certainly did. So as you can see there, top 12 listed there on the grid. I need to work out how to get to prompt the next page, but we've got Shane van Gisbergen in P1 with Connor Nixon P2, Bruce Tannock, Megan Turbo entry in 3, Timothy Vaughan in 4th, Dion DeGraaf, Team Simblacks in 5th, Heath Parlett, Skeleton Sim Sports in 6th, Aaron Goodrick, MRX with a slightly new banner, which we'll go and check on him soon. P8, Cole Taylor has taken out 8th. Tony Lynch, Digital Bogan entry in 9th, and Daniel Heddershire bringing it in 10th. And looks like Shane van Gisbergen has not jumped out onto the track just yet. I don't know if he'll be starting from pit lane or if he's just dragging out making sure that he's got the setup squared away. There, he's probably got all of about 15 seconds left to get there on the grid, or he'll miss the start and have to start from the back. Connor Nixon is racing under a new flag as well. I see Racecraft. That's a new one. We might be able to get a bit more of an update on that change of pace, but looks like Shane has missed the start as the lights populate on the field.
So the off Connor did creep a little bit as the lights came on. I think he'll get away with it. I don't think he'll get pinged for a jump start there, but we'll wait and see. Bruce
Chaos
at the
back.
There's chaos at the back. So it looks like maybe a few guys not getting away too well, and a bit of drama as guys are trying to get around. I see Taylor Mitchell with damage. Brendan Brownie going sideways into turn 1 as well. And we have an early safety car.
We do. There we go. So MRX safety car has been pulled out very early with that chaos that we saw at the beginning. So everyone has slowed up there. Did anyone tow though? Did anyone tow to the pits? We've had a couple of people jump to the pits. Let's have a look and see what that happened there. We had Taylor Mitchell crash. We'll bring that up. Okay, it's
is them
Interesting.
pulling off the
Oh.
toe under safety car.
Yeah.
So we want to see much earlier on all this.
So we can probably go back a wee bit on from that, but Ridley Turner, he's also jumped to the pits. Yeah, that car is toast. And good reason why his engine just blew there. So that was Ridley Turner, Skeleton Sim Sport entry. I've got Nick Mitchell crashing. Here's our safety car. So
I'm blown up, boys.
that'll be why that's come up on screen for us, because the data's showing as him being under 20k. Bill Kilger has just transmitted that his engine's blown up as well. So he was trying his best to get around. We've advised the drivers that we've advised the drivers to try not to tow, and then obviously a couple of cars were a bit hesitant to go by Bill there, as you can see. As we have a look up the front here, who have we got going on up the front, Shane?
So we've got Connor Nixon leading at the moment. If you can just find in your data Steve Bradford crash, that looks to be what set off the drama at the start.
The initial drama. Okay, I'll see. Yeah, should be able to, yeah, I've got one, and that'll be the one. So I can do that. Just bring that up now. So here we go, I will just quickly do that. There we go. Oh, stopped on the line. Car 35 not moving at all.
And this was separate from all of that as well. So a couple of incidents going on there where...
Wow, who's car 35? Daniel Heddershire. So he didn't get away at all. So let's just have a look and see.
That's a cheeky start. Do it again.
So here's restarting the start. So everyone gets away. And Daniel Heddershire not moving at all, and just got poleaxed at the back. I'm trying to see who it was that actually went into him. Oh, it was Peter Vanderberg.
Oh, yes.
But yes, as you can see, everyone trying to dart away, and that's caused car 503, which would be... I have to scroll down. Who's 503?
Race will go green.
Scott McKenzie has gone and driven into the side of one of the Skeleton Sim Sport guys. So
Safety car will accelerate away from the field. Exit off turn 8. Car 1 8, please hold.
So we're about to go green. Nick Mitchell's just giving the instructions to the field.
In the lane, upon which you may start the race when you're ready.
yeah, giving a good rundown for the guys on what's expected.
Until after the apex of the last corner.
So safety car.
Oh shit! It was fun.
Oh, and the safety car spun going back to the pits. He's towed back to the pits, so the safety car is in pit lane now.
Cool. Safety car's in pit lane.
And still communicating, doing a very good job, even with the
lane, car 168, you have the field.
doing a very good job of communicating to the field. Connor Nixon, car 168, has control of the field, and he will be getting ready to go as he comes out of the last corner, and he has gapped it. He has gone, and look where the other cars are, still trying to get through those last two corners while he is off and away. We have Dion de Graaf here Team Simblacks, P2, already up 3 spots from where he started, and that would be thanks a little bit to Shane Van Gisbergen not starting, which was a wee bit odd. And then who else did we have? Bruce Tannock must have been near the front. We didn't see what happened to him, did we? Or did we?
I was going to call that in, and then we were looking at replays, and it slipped my mind. He came to pit lane under safety car. So he's taken his compulsory pit stop very early. He's going to try and make those tyres go all the way to the end.
Yep.
We'll see if that strategy pays off, because if he can do it without having to stop again, he will gain track position, but he's going to be struggling to hold on to those tyres towards the end.
Okay. As we just have a look off the back of Dion, sitting there in P3 at the moment is Heath Parlett, who did manage to get by Timothy Vaughan, and he's putting on the pressure at the moment. That's a cool shot.
That's not good.
Oh,
Timothy.
as Cole
Taylor
Taylor.
behind. Very easy to just drop it coming off that corner. It's a very tricky long corner, and you're trying to get the power down while not kicking the rear end out, and he's just squeezed the throttle out a little bit too much. Looks like he's managed to keep it off the wall, but he's lost a couple of spots, and might have, I'm not sure whether it would have picked up a slowdown there.
Yeah, I just wondered if he did that. Yeah, there was
might have just got away with it, I think. I'm not sure though.
it was deep under brakes for sure. But yeah, I was just looking at that when I was talking about Tim. Cole was sitting there up in fifth or sixth spot at the beginning of that, and then just gassed it up a bit too much as he came out of there. So there's positions 3 and 4 having a wee battle at the moment as Timothy Vaughan just pulls back across to let Heath Parlett go by. So he may have had a slowdown himself on that one. Aaron,
And Connor Nixon's just had a lock up at the front, and Dion is right on him now, so this is getting really tight for the lead.
cool. Stay with
He's going to look to
this
see if he
for
can
a
get a good
minute.
exit off turn 14, and he'll tuck into the draft down the straight. Connor's probably got just enough of a gap where Dion's not going to be able to throw it up the inside cleanly here. You do have to sort of be alongside before the braking zone. But if he can get a good run through 1 and 2, he'll have the run down the hill and the draft down the hill into turn 3. So he might
And here we
be able to
go.
make something happen there. And Connor maybe just trying to back him up a little bit there, but Dion's right there, not sitting in the draft, but he's got the run anyway around the outside. Connor's going to cover the inside line, make Dion go the long way around. Dion will look to tuck it underneath into turn 4, but Connor holding a nice line there. That's good defensive driving from Connor.
It was indeed. Yeah, I was just about to say that Dion was really well positioned coming through turn 2 there, as it is a very, very, very hard corner to get right and to get a good run off, and he absolutely executed it. But Connor just showing his racecraft enough just to be able to hold a defensive line and just not making the next few corner apexes for Dion very easy to achieve while still trying to attack. As you can see there now, Connor has just stretched that gap back out to just over a second, and I can see
Yes, I think,
this car finally made it out on track.
yeah, I think he might have set the fire extinguisher off again. Had to start from pit lane.
Yeah, very interesting. Looking at Blake now sitting in P7 as he got that braking point not very well there indeed, and he's now got Tony Lynch and Digital Bogan entry all over his rear bumper, and Tony's teammate Eamon Young there in the Digital Bogan Commodore entry is sitting just behind him in 9th spot currently. Those guys both moving up through the numbers, with Eamon making the greatest gain so far, up 6 spots.
There's a nice tight battle going on here, so Tony putting the pressure on Blake, looking to see if he can't find a way around. Certainly nice and close at the moment. It's not the easiest track to pass at. We saw how Connor was able to defend from Dion earlier on, as we've got Craig Mason and Eamon Young going side by side.
Great bit of racing
Craig,
through those sections of corners, which we know in the GT3s is not easy, and those guys have been able to give each other a lovely amount of racing room and keep off each other's sides from having any issues, as we see Liam Jacobs just sizing up whether or not he had enough run there on the back of Eamon to make that work. As we see now Eamon having a look down through the outside, that wasn't going to work, so sits back in behind there. This corner very tricky. We'll bring that up next time as they come round. It's downhill and off cambered. It's a very tricky section of racetrack to get back into before climbing back up the hill here.
yeah, a long double apex corner where it tightens up on the second apex, so you're braking all the way through that first one. So a lot of turning and braking there, which these cars don't particularly like to do either.
No, that's right. As Daniel Heddershaw just moved past Mike Limbrick there into position 20 over 21. Got Taylor Mitchell back here having some fun with Scott Pickering in positions 23. That's Shane Van Gisbergen carving his way up through the field, just in behind. He's tucked onto the back bumper there of Taylor Mitchell, and he's gone and squeezed by Scott Pickering, who wasn't giving that up very easily.
Just quickly, Doug, do you know if there's a quick way you can get a lap counter on that timing tower there? Because our viewers at home might be thinking we've got an hour and a half race to wait through, but it's not going to be that long.
I can have a look.
It's Taylor Mitchell putting pressure on the passion car in front of him, which is Mike Limbrick. And Taylor's been able to get that past on as he's recovering through the field after his early dramas.
We have Graham Smythe now hunting the back of Scott McKenzie as he dives down underneath him. He's made that work.
So Graham's sitting 15th at the moment, up 18 spots from where he qualified. So
Yep.
obviously his qualifying wasn't that great, but he's on a nice recovery drive here. So we'll see how far up the field he can get.
Is indeed. And Craig Mason charging up through the field here, and he's managed to find the back of Blake. I don't think Blake's giving it everything that he can at the moment. I mean, I could be wrong. He could be really, really trying, but I think Blake's just mindful that it is a race that is going to be 33 laps, and no, I can't find a way of bringing up the lap number versus the timer number. So maybe you would be able to give us some maths around how long you think this race might last, but I'm going to say somewhere in the vicinity of 45 minutes.
Yeah, I believe it'll be around 45 minutes. It is the same lap number as what was used for the officials this week, and they are normally around 45-minute races, so should be about there.
And Craig making very, very quick work there of Blake as he now eyes up Tony Lynch. So Craig not mucking around. Of course, he's got good reason to want to try and get towards the front. He's been away for a few races, and he's sitting towards the top of the table. I believe the recent posting on points had him tied for third or fourth spot with your mate Mark Wright, who now won't be able to get the DSA Sylvan car out as much as he'd like to after going and getting himself a job.
Yeah, so good on you, Mark, for getting yourself a job. Obviously, that income is important, but yeah, a little bit disappointed that is one of the Digital Bogans cars having a big moment there. Yeah, a little bit disappointed that we're not able to see the DSA Sylvan car out on track in the V8 races quite so often. Hopefully there's the potential that Mark may be able to get some time off work to come back and do some more races later in the season, but we'll have to just play that by ear. As Liam Jacobs, big rear lock there, maybe just getting on the curb and limiting the grip a little bit more.
He actually ran into the back of Tony Lynch. I think he was just trying to arrest that speed a bit more, as and then he's had a bump, so it's had the double whammy there. Who else we got going on? Peter Vanderberg down 3 spots currently, but he's closing in on the back of Scott Pickering, who has obviously been pushing on after the opening lap dramas, because he's still running the lightweight version of his Mustang. But yeah, shout out for you, Peter, to your friend there, Josh from Painless Engineering. Hopefully you've tuned in again tonight, Josh. I can say that we have Mr. Eccleston, Jared Eccleston, or Stonesy. He's tuned in. He's watching the race. I can see his chat there popping up on the screen beside me. So shout out to you, Stonesy, and we'll catch you on Thursday night, brother. Also an update on Cole Taylor. He messaged me. He had wheel failure.
Oh no.
So
that's a bugger, Cole. Hopefully you can get that sorted in time for the next race. And he's back on track now, so that's good.
Yeah, so that was the drama that he had earlier. But I can say that his last time in the pits was 2 minutes and 31 seconds.
Well, so that'll drop him a couple of laps down, I guess. We did just have change on track for P2. Timothy Vaughan getting past Dion de Graaf. Dion has come to the pits now, so I think he'd just been a bit hard on those tyres when he had that little battle with Connor Nixon, and we saw how quickly Connor was able to pull away after that, and Timothy's been able to close in on Connor and get that pass done, so Dion's stopped to the pits to get some new tyres on and see if he can challenge later on in the race.
Yeah, as we see Dion coming back out now, and he's probably going to be well clear of everyone, and closest person to him will be his teammate there, Stefan.
Actually, Connor's been to the pits as well, because Timothy is now leading. Or no, sorry, no, that was just an issue on my end where I'd lost Connor briefly there, but Connor is still going out front.
As your telemetry must have had some foresight going on there, because Connor's just rolling into pit lane now. Timothy Vaughan cruising on by. Heath Parlett's reacted to that and has come into the pits also. Wayne Spencer up currently into, well, now second spot, so that's a great drive by Wayne, showing up 9 spots currently from where he started. There's Aaron Goodrick with the Rosetown Motor Group. He's got loose coming out through that section of corner.
Interesting for me that Tim hasn't come to the pits there, given that he had just passed Connor, and Connor obviously, given he just passed Dion, and Dion obviously coming in to try and trigger an undercut to get that position back. I would have thought Tim might have been keen to get in and hold that position, but looking to hold on to a strategy of going a bit longer and getting good tyres at the end. We're still about 4 or 5 laps away from halfway. So if he can go beyond halfway, or even just 2 halfway, he's going to give himself a good advantage towards the end. So he might need to repass Dion again if he does that, although Dion currently getting held up behind Bruce Tannock a little bit.
Okay, let's have a look back there. So Dion is just sitting in behind Bruce Tannock there. And just in front of them, they've got Daniel Heddershot.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit strange to talk about Bruce holding anybody up because he is very quick in his own right. But of course, remember, he took that pit stop on lap 1. He's trying to go to the end on these tyres, so he's managing those while Dion's just got the fresh tyres on the car and he's going to be wanting to make hay while the sun shines.
Has, and as you were saying before, Timothy Vaughan has taken the opportunity to come into the pits.
And Dion and Bruce are coming down the pit lane and they're going to get past him, so Tim is going to have to pass Dion again. And there's a couple laps difference. It will give him an advantage for sure, but for me, I would have thought he might have wanted to go a bit further than that to give himself more of an advantage, given that he's already conceded that spot anyway. But
yes.
Maybe he was just looking at the gap to Taylor Mitchell there and thinking, I want to make sure I get out in front of him.
Correct. Yeah. So, who else have we got going on? So, this is tight still here between Bruce and Dion as Mark Price gets out of the way for Daniel Heddershire and now Mr. Tannock and De Graaf.
As Bruce has had a bit of a lock up there, he doesn't want too much of that. It'll be interesting to see what Bruce does here in the long run because he's trying to nurse those tyres. He doesn't want to be getting into too many unnecessary fights, but at the same time we know Bruce is never one to give it up easily. He's never one to shy away from a fight.
No, not at all. So Connor just rounding up the traffic there of Scott McKenzie, just cruised on by him. You can see quite a cool battle developing between Craig and Aaron. As I thought I just heard someone crashing in the background, but nothing's come up on the tower. The last crash that I had was Ridley Turner. Taylor Mitchell, Derek Lovegrove now in the pits. Derek about to exit, and there we go. So that's Derek Lovegrove now sporting a Passion livery.
Yeah, so Derek's been part of the Passion community for a wee while, and obviously Dane has convinced him to join the team, and he's representing the team with that livery now.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, awesome looking stuff. Love the Passion liveries, and think they're a big supporter of SuperCars NZ, as you can see that on the front of the bonnet there. Awesome stuff. What else we got happening there? So Ridley Turner, car 19. He was the one who had a bit of a crash before, and he's just pulled in behind Steve Bradford there, Skeleton Sim Sports Car 43, as they've exited together. He's slowed up to let some of the front runners go by. Didn't want to get stuck in the middle of that battle too much. And those guys making hay. Fast Charger up 10 spots currently. Craig Mason. Let's have a little look on board and see how Craig does it. If I can find the button. It's not that one.
Craig comes into pit lane, gets the car down to speed, gets the limiter on just before he comes across that cone. Safety car sitting in pit lane.
Yeah. This is on board with Blake, and this is the corner we were talking about before as we come down the hill, and this is a very long trail braking and using the engine brakes. It goes off camber, then back on camber, then off camber again. Very, very tricky part of the track to deal with, and all of those corners there ready to give you a slowdown penalty if you take too much off it. Blake using the engine to maximise minimise the wheel spin. I've just had a message pop up from Andrew Johnson. I hadn't realised that he had disappeared, but Andrew Johnson was disqualified by iRacing. He misunderstood the jump start penalty. So
Okay.
I'm assuming he didn't either do the drive-through or the stop penalty, and he's failed to adhere to whatever iRacing's penalty was around the jump start, and then has been his black flag has resulted in a disqualification. So sorry to hear that, Andrew. I'm sure that won't be a mistake that happens again to you anytime soon.
Oh, and Bruce has just had contact with, I think, Daniel Heddershire, and he's immediately called that into race control.
Let me have a look and see if I can see that.
I think it was
With Pete, was it?
a lapped car as well.
Okay.
Thanks, Ben.
Oh no, I've got no. Sorry, it was Daniel Heddershire. He is on the lead lap. Looks like he might be attempting to redress that because he has dropped back closer to Bruce.
This is where he has been passed.
Yeah, so this is him, I think, letting a few cars go, trying to look to see where Bruce is to redress that. But Bruce did lose a number of spots, and he is still slowing up, looking to let Bruce catch and pass him as well. So that's the redress we're seeing there.
So we can see Daniel Heddershire here in the grey, white and orange car. This is still of a replay with Bruce 2 cars behind him at this moment. So he is trying to keep racing at race pace, but do his best to keep out of people's way. It is a very tricky one though, isn't it, Shane, when you're doing your best, because you don't want to concede too much time, because you know that you're going to overall penalise yourself every time you try and slow up and get off track.
Yeah, that's right, and he's come to pit lane where he hasn't quite completed that redress, so it'll be interesting to see how race control sees that, whether they call it as he's made the attempt to redress and it's all fine, or
Yeah.
potentially they could say it wasn't completed, you're still going to need to serve a little bit of a penalty there. So it'll be up to Sean and Nick how they assess that.
As we see Wayne Spencer coming into pit lane. So that now makes Blake Grenhall P1 at this stage, with the one and only Shane Van Gisbergen hot on his tail behind him.
31, lap 19 incident. It's a racing incident. Carry on.
As we have heard the query from car 31, Bruce Stanek, Magan Turbo entry, it was declared a racing incident, so no further investigation will take part on that. As we look back from Blake to Shane Van Gisbergen, I'm interested to see how Blake approaches this, and whether he tries to hold him up or just carries on racing his race.
Yeah, and Blake hasn't pitted. SVG has pitted as he makes the pass on him now.
Car 20 and car 74.
As Deon de Graaf calls in an incident.
Copy that, Dion. Have a look.
Can you also look at turn 1, 2, please?
That was with Dion de Graaf
Already there, brother.
on Timothy Vaughan, car 74, I believe he said.
Yeah, I think that's right. So Blake Greenhill dropping back to P2 and coming to the pits now after Shane Van Gisbergen passed him. As I was just saying, Shane Van Gisbergen has pitted, but he pitted under the safety car on lap 3. So it'll be interesting to see how his tyres are going. Of course, he's a bit of a master at looking after his tyres, so if anyone can do it, he can.
Yeah. Certainly is indeed, as we see Evan Young and who's that? Car 199. Must have been a lap car. Rob Higgins. Yeah, so
Yes.
so Rob sitting down in 28th at the moment. He's done one stop, but whether or not that's one stop enough, or whether he's gotten to have to stop again. There's Dion coming into pit lane. So we got going on Craig Mason chewing up his tyres, pushing forward. Currently sitting in 7th.
It's the second stop that Dion's just taken then, isn't it? Because he had already been to the pits. He's back out on track now.
Yeah, maybe.
So I wonder if he had damage from that incident he called in.
Have a look and see if you can see anything on penalties. What people's penalties are and how many they've got to use.
I can have a look at that. So Dion's only sitting on 3 incident points at the moment, and the limit is 25. So the highest currently is Ross Watson on 16. So everybody currently
well within that.
Got a bit of breathing room. So yeah, I wonder if we heard Dion calling that incident. I wonder if he just had some damage from that, which required him to come in and take some repairs.
As we see Rob Higgins diving deep under brakes with that, using that runoff down there at the end of turn 3. So we're watching James McKenzie here, Passion Sim Racing backed driver, car 98, as he is trying to do his best to line up Mark Price here in the 007 car, who has now got 0 podiums, 0 wins, and takes about 7 incident points per lap. That's very good.
That to Blake Greenhill, 1 win, about how many podiums does he have now? About 3 or 4, and
Yep.
incidents per lap probably about sitting at that 7 marker.
Yes. I think driver of the match last week was Cole Taylor, but I don't think Cole has been able to replicate that very well tonight. Pepsi Max Commodore there, after having some gear failure before. He's sitting down a whopping 21 spots. So Cole just doing his thing and lapping it up and hoping other people fall off around him. Shane Newens here, sitting just ahead of our race week sponsor, SDI, Steve Darren Interiors. If you're in the market for getting any sort of building work done, probably at a larger commercial scale, Steve would be a good one to hit up about that.
Yes, so Steve specialises in commercial fit outs, but he's got plenty of experience in the building industry, so if you need any sort of construction done, if he's not in a position to be able to do it himself, I'm sure he can point you in the right direction.
Certainly will be able to. I'm interested to see if I can make this work. That one there. Would you mind, now that I've finally found it, doing the honours of giving us a lap next time he comes round?
Oh, I think I can probably manage that.
Hopefully he doesn't fall under too much pressure while we're sitting inside his car and falls off the track or anything silly.
So he's coming down the main straight now, comes across the line to start a lap. And on the brakes, down to second gear, turning into turn 1, climb it over the curb there, turn back to the right into the long turn 2. Still second gear, short shift to 30 to get into power down, up to 4th now. Cresting the hill and dropping down towards turn 3, up to 6th gear. On the brakes, dropping back down the gears, 4th gear through here, down to 3rd, keep going through the long right-hander. Get the inside curb at turn 4 there, and then hold it in 3rd. Left-hander at 5, right-hander at 6, and then another double apex, left-hander this time at 7 and 8. And it just keeps going and going and going until you eventually pop out the other side, pull gears through the kink at turn 9, up to 5th gear, back on the brakes, down to 2nd gear, tight right-hand hairpin at turn 10 here, accelerating out, another kink at turn 11, back on the brakes, down to 2nd gear for turn 12, 90-degree left-hander, back up to 3rd gear, on the brakes, cutting that curve there, back down to 2nd gear for the final corner at turn 14, and this just keeps going forever. Get the throttle down as cleanly as you can, manages to avoid any wheel spin, pulling gears now up to 5th gear, 6th gear as you cross the line to finish the lap.
Goodness me, there was a lot of talking you did. There was also a lot of turning and driving and gear shifting that they do.
That's right.
Wow.
It's a busy old track.
I thought Winton was bad, but I've driven here and I didn't appreciate just how taxing of a track it is when you break it down like that.
Yeah, and look who's behind Steve Darren here.
Yes. Just
That
and off along.
So I actually briefly thought maybe he'd been to the pits again, but no, he's just lapping these cars here.
And why
So
not?
one less lap for Steve and Shane to do.
Yep.
Steve might take advantage of Shane Newen's being slowed up. He's got the run on him, and can he hold on the outside here? Looks like Shane's going to be able to hold position for now, but certainly under a lot more pressure than he was before he had to concede to those blue flags. So Steve able to let SVG go a lot more cleanly than Shane Newen's was.
Yes, indeed, and Steve just making sure that he's just showing himself still in those mirrors. See if he can keep Shane Newlands on his toes. But I think Steve just falling back into his rhythm now, as it looks like opportunity might be gone. I hear Connor Nixon there. He's managed to get himself back into P2, and he not far behind Shane Van Gisbergen, but let's just remember where Shane started. He was a few laps down, and from pit lane he's managed to come up through the field and back into P1.
I think he was always on the lead lap. I think he did come out of the pits on that.
Oh, under the safety car?
No, just on the race start. I think he came out as the tail of the field had gone through. So yep. I think he was always on the lead lap, but certainly coming through from the back and finding his way through to the front. Very impressive.
Indeed. There's a few battles popping up towards the end of the race. We've got Daniel Heddershire and Scott McKenzie having pressure. Tony Lynch and Aaron Goodrick having a wee battle here up towards the front, P8 and 9. What else we got? Steve still sitting close with Shane Newens there. Cole Taylor sitting on the back of Rob Higgins. He is slowly bringing himself further forward. Well done, Cole. He was a few spots down there before. As under brakes, he's been able to round up Rob.
A good effort from Cole to get that pulled up, because he was very squirmy under brakes there, so he's just on the edge of getting those rears locked, but managed to get slowed down enough to get the pass done nice and cleanly.
Has indeed. And he's now got, I believe that's Daniel Heddershire in front of him. Car 35.
Yeah, it's definitely a Heddershire car, and I don't believe Simon's in tonight, so it will be Daniel behind the wheel of that one. Oh, Higgins
thought that was
getting
going
late on
to
the
be...
brakes, but well done from everybody. Well done from Rob to be able to avoid people, and well done from Cole and Mark to recognise that he had made that mistake and give him a bit of room there to recover it.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a big moment, but thankfully Rob was able to pull that up. So Cole now just cruising towards the back of Pricey, as we have found Daniel Johnson, whose father Andrew was the one that we were talking about before that had the disqualification. Those yellow wheels come up very green with the under the change of sunlight. It's very fluorescent.
They certainly stand out, don't they?
I think everyone was enjoying talking about Sean McNamara's white wheels there a few seasons ago, but now I think this will be the topic of choice. Who can get the glowiest wheels going on? And at the moment, hands down to you, Daniel Johnson. Well done. What else we got down on? This is a tight little battle pack here, sitting between P25 and 29. Back towards the front though, Bruce Tannock has moved into 5th spot after that very early stop. There's not much left of the Mag and Turbo sign on the side of his car though. Not on the other side at least.
And not much rubber left on those mags either.
No. And he's done a very good job to move up as he rounds up a lap traffic car 41. I believe that is Shane, is it? Can't see it. Car 41. Simon Willis there. He's just got by. So, great drive there.
SVG's dealing with a pile of traffic at the moment. He's just come across that battle we were looking at earlier with Rob Higgins involved in that. He's behind Rob at the moment, and plenty more cars in front to have to clear.
Was behind Rob Higgins. This guy's driving with the nitrous button smashed down. Oh! So Sam Apps has just had a moment. We'll be able to have a look back at that. He was in the mix of that, and now everyone on their toes as they get to cruise on by the drama. Shane being able to see that from a wee ways back. Let's have a look and see what happened to Sam. Oh, so he's actually had a tap there under brakes, and poor Scott just got bumped off through the side. I wonder if Sam will call that in. I didn't hear anything, but he'd probably be within his right to call that. racing. Oh, there we go. So he's actually redressed it. You can see that the car with black with the gold bonnet has waited for him to get back and underway again, as we must be getting close to checker flag as minute marker 45 has rolled on by, and Shane Van Gisbergen comes around the final corner one more time.
He's taking the white flag
White
now, so
flag.
we're on the final lap of 33.
More smoke coming up through turn 1 there as he goes through to turn 2. Connor Nixon now just coming through that section of tracks. He's 11 seconds behind. And Timothy Vaughan just coming round through the final corner as he crosses the line a little bit further back from them. One quick last look. Steve Bradford and Simon Willis. Ross Watson, hadn't seen much of you tonight, Ross, but there you are. The white and pink Sparko entry. It's quite cool. I like that. Bruce Tannock still got Wayne Spencer following him round nicely, so there's going to be some good battles coming up in the future between them two.
041, lap 32.
Simon Willis has called an
Copy
incident
that,
in.
041, we'll look at it.
Looks like Steve Bradford might have been involved in that as well.
Have a quick look at that. Dunno. Looks like a racing incident to me. It looks like there could have been room.
Yeah, there's a few things that Sean will look at there, whether Steve was under control of the car the whole time in the past there, whether he was going to make the corner as Shane Van Gisbergen's finished the race.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I was still watching him under replay there. I saw a checkered flag come up on the end. Oh gosh, as Sam Apps goes and fires it into the fence, very deep. Connor Nixon rounding up P2.
Time penalty, car 43, 5 second time penalty, car 43.
Oh,
So
okay.
car 43 was given a time penalty, so I would say Sean's probably judged that to be that he wasn't under control of the pass as he got to the apex. This might be a better angle of it.
Obviously had a bit of damage.
So coming down under
Yeah,
he has had a bit of a lock up and just runs wide a little bit, so while he possibly could have been given a little bit more space, Sean's judged that he wasn't completely under control of the pass, and that's caused him to understeer into the other car, so
There we go. And so let's just bring this up quickly on here, which no one else is going to be able to see. So Cole Taylor was currently sitting P1, only just ahead of Connor Nixon on points by a whopping 8 points. So Cole Taylor tonight finishing ways down the grid, but managing to still get in with some points. Connor Nixon, who P2'd tonight, and you can see he's very happily celebrating there on screen at the moment, sitting P2 championship. And tied for third was Craig Mason and Mark Wright. So Craig Mason finishing in 7th spot, Bruce Tannock just behind him in points in 5th, finished ahead. So there could be a little bit of changing around the bottom step of the podium. It might be getting a little bit closer. Yeah, so very interesting, and I mention it to everyone when I'm doing the points release. Keep racing, keep racing, keep racing. We have 4 drop rounds this season, and anything could happen at the final tally up at the end of season. So current point standings and the people we're talking about at the moment could very easily get a shake up towards the end with some people that we're not quite expecting to be there. But other than that, I don't think we were too bad tonight. Obviously, opening lap, a bit dramatic, but from then on, after the safety car, was cool. And let's not forget, the safety car managed to crash as well. That will be something that will be remembered for a long time. Thank you very much to Steve, Darren Interiors, this week's sponsor. Thank you to Allports Gaming, our main season sponsor. Thank you to iRacing. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. And lastly, thank you to you, Shane, for joining me once again in the broadcasting lounge and helping me out with the calls.
And thank you, Doug, for running a very good stream.
Oh, thank you very much. And you'll be able to tune in on Thursday with the GT3s. I'll be streaming that one again. I believe Wayne's away for another week. Got some stuff going on that he needs to sort out. So I'll be in the lounge with probably Sean McNamara as we watch you take us into the UK for our first race there, Brands Hatch. And I hope you've been doing some practice in the fog, mate. That's all I'm going to say.
I haven't, but I just hope the headlights on the Merc are working well.
Well, we'll be able to find out in a few short nights. And thank you to all of you at home for joining in. Love you and leave you. Good night.